I'm Aida, and I'm a photographer. So I'll be talking about the unconventional approach to career. So in Bosnia, as in many other countries in the world, we are taught that life is constructed as a series of steps we need to climb in order to succeed. So one of the first steps that we take is, of course, we go to school. And then after that, we are, in order to climb the next step, supposed to get good grades, which are not always necessarily linked to the amount of knowledge that we receive, but the grades are always a priority. Then after that, we get a job. We stick to that job. We don't change it. We don't question it. But we wait till we retire. And then, as sad as it sounds, but it's kind of the end of the game. We're supposed to fit in life and having fun as something in between all of these steps. Well, I once climbed half of these steps, let's say. So I went to college. I found a job. As a plus, I got a permanent contract. And, and I was a new mom. But then I just decided to kind of jump off the steps and take the other way. It was nothing like climbing. It was more like running freestyle while being chased by wild animals. But with ups and downs, twists and turns. I had some days when I was thinking, why did I need this in my life? Why did I do this to myself? But I decided to start working as a photographer. Just to quickly update you on this, I had no formal education in this field. I had no professional experience. But I had something that I lacked at my previous job. I had a huge passion and the excitement about waking up in the morning and learning new things and doing new things every day, again and again. So let me try to explain my irrational decision in numbers. We, all of us, most of us, work 8 to 9 hours a day, let's say 5 days a week. So ideally. So that is 2/3 of our life, and that's 45 years. 45 years of our lives we spend, sometimes, usually, doing jobs that I won't say we don't like, but we don't feel passionate about. Do we really want to do that? Do we really want to spend that much time doing things we don't like? And I just want to tell you, don't go to work on Monday and blame it on me if you quit. If you hate your co-workers and you quit, that's not a valid reason. A valid reason to change your job or to think about change is only if you are willing to jump at that first step again and learn from the beginning, start from the beginning, and actually learn all over again, make mistakes, fail, and do it again and again, every day. Having at least short-term financial plan is always a plus. And another thing, this is a very small world. So as exciting as it sounds to dramatically close the door and tell your boss what you think about him, please don't do that. Burning bridges gets you nowhere. One of many reasons why I left my previous job is actually the lack of opportunities to learn. I was very good at what I was doing, but I knew it by heart. I was doing it every day, same things, repeatedly. I could have done it for at least 30 more years, and everybody would praise me for my quick and immaculate job. But I would stagnate in so many ways. I just didn't want that. So I want to address few of those looks from the audience that maybe don't know what I'm talking about, and maybe you knew what you wanted to become when you were very young, and you still are doing that. Don't worry, my husband is one of you, and he's somewhere over there. He got his first guitar when he was, I think, 4. He started playing when he was 5, and now he's 35, and he's still doing it. He's the lucky one. I, on the other hand, have never answered that question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Same for 2 times in a row. I had no idea what I wanted to become when I was young. I have some idea now, but I knew I had several talents. I just didn't know and couldn't decide on which talents to explore. So I was thinking, why is choosing one thing, and only one thing, the option we accept? I want to tell you this story about a colleague of mine. She's an amazing photographer. So a few years ago, I was talking to her, and she told me that she got this new job as a CEO of an important and serious company. And she told me that she will quit photography for a while. I was in shock. I asked her why. Why would you do that? And she said, well, I need other colleagues in this company to take me seriously. And doing 2 things is just not something that they will see as okay. So that got me thinking, when did we start to question the skills of let's say, a doctor who makes hats as a side job, or a designer who's also a politician, or a CEO who's a rapper and a DJ? And guys, I'm not kidding, I really do know all of these people. I even know one dentist who makes amazing jewelry, and she does it under a surname, different name, because she doesn't want her patients to consider her as, I don't know, don't take her seriously. Some people maybe really have all of this. Maybe they know what they want to become when they're young. Maybe they have this one love and they love only once. Maybe they have this BFF since preschool and they still hang out with the same people. But for most of us, this is actually idealized and glorified and not true, simply not true. Why are we forbidden to explore more? And why do we limit ourselves? I don't know if you heard this term, but do you know what Renaissance person is? You rarely hear it today, but it's considered a person who explores all of his talents and interests. So let me tell you about one Renaissance person all of you know about. He was an amazing architect, but he was also a very good musician. He wrote several philosophy books. And as a side job, he also made some kinky torture devices. Da Vinci. Imagine Da Vinci today. Someone would probably tell him, come on, stop kidding around. You're an architect. What are you doing? Making music? That's not okay. So I once went to this job interview. I was so proud of my CV. I did so many things in my life because I was exploring myself and I never knew what I wanted to become, as I said. So I went to this job interview and I brought my CV like a scrapbook full of various experiences. And this guy who was interviewing me, he told me, but he said it in a way to be offensive. He said, well, you're not for us. I got a clear and harsh no. And I asked him why. And he said, well, we want an employer who would not change jobs every 2 years. I was devastated because this got to my self-esteem. I was thinking, I'm 25. I have no idea what I want to do with my life. he's right. But now I realize that he's not, because this job was not for me. This employer was not for me. They wanted someone who would do the same job every day, who would not improvise, and not necessarily learn new things, but repeatedly do the job exquisitely every day, again and again. So I want to tell you why I value today all of the experiences that I got, and what are these experiences. So for a second, I was a TV host for a year, I think. This was an amazing experience. This taught me multitasking, and I appreciate it till this day. And also, while I was working at a TV station, there was this mascot that we had in a kids show, and the girl who was playing it did not show up for work for a few weeks, and I was supposed to get in. So this experience taught me something that I am very grateful today. It's patience in terrible and smelly conditions, which, trust me, it's a perfect prep for parenthood. And also, while everybody else was complaining about COVID masks and everything, I was like, come on, dude, breathing under this, piece of cake. So I was a primary school teacher also for, I think, a year. Now this one. This is equivalent to military training. So this taught me how to work and remain calm in a war zone. And don't forget, today I work with models and makeup artists. So negotiating with hostages is a special skill that I learned in primary school. Also, I worked for a year at a university. This actually made me resilient to anything. You know, when you come to work and you have 50 students sitting in front of you every day, and their only amusement is to wait for you to make a mistake so that they can laugh about it, well, after that, you may as well give a TED talk. So, thank you. So, the job that I hated the most but appreciate the most today was office job. I stick to it for 5 years, can you imagine? This prepared me for administrative work that most of my colleagues today struggle because artists hate administrative work and stuff like that. Today I understand deadlines, as I have worked at school where you simply cannot come unprepared. And I value all of these experiences. I'm good under pressure because of live TV shows that I did. And best of all, something that I appreciate the most is I have a huge network of people now. Now, I know all of these random interests and jobs are very valuable today, but at many points in my life, this was the source of my biggest insecurities. And when did we start praising only single-oriented and single-talented people? Now, as a final thing, I want to tell you this experience that I had in this IT company, shooting for them, doing a portrait shoot for them a few months back. I came there and they were doing this presentation of all the work that they were doing in the, I don't know, in front of their bosses. And there was this group of two classic stereotypes. This, I apologize in advance for generalizing, but there was this IT guy, very serious, introvert. Yes, I know you were imagining him right now. He was very quiet, and he was obviously an IT expert. And with him was this girl, she was total opposite of him. She had this perfect hair and makeup, extrovert, loud. And I thought, she's probably an assistant, but he's the boss. Then they started to explain what they were doing. And in a very complex language and very seriously, he explained how he developed an app, a face recognition app. And I did not understand a thing except a face recognition app. But then he said, we had a huge problem. We had some bugs, and she fixed it. And then she said how she fixed it. She realized that if you go to work, if you go to vacation, let's say, and you grow a beard, Face app does not recognize you. Or if you dye your hair or change your haircut, the app does not recognize you. So she experimented. She put on hats, mustache, a wig. She had fun. And she fixed all the bugs. So I suddenly realized they are both essential to each other. He as an expert, and she as a classic Renaissance person with multiple talents. So I always imagined, to be honest, when they asked me in an interview, how did you decide to become a photographer? That I can tell this romantic story of how I got my first camera when I was 5, how I knew I wanted to become a photographer when I was very young. But the truth is, I had no idea. I have some idea now, but I still don't limit myself to that. For example, I love marketing. Maybe I'll do marketing in a few years. I also like video. Maybe I'll do video. Sorry. But what I really know is that I'm not afraid to change my mind. And I'm not afraid to try to study hard and learn new things and constantly and tirelessly give my inner Renaissance person a chance.